Okay, I'm going live, everyone.
Okay.
I think we're live. Hey, everyone. I think we're live now. So thanks for tuning in. We are going to record this so you can always watch it later as well. So I have the team is here gathering all the questions. We have a big list of questions already from just over the last couple of weeks. And James is going to feed me any other questions as well. As you guys know, there's always a couple things that we might not be able to talk about, but I'll make sure I comment on everything, and we'll go from there. So first things first. So the team has been working really, really hard. We have about 15 people now. The focus over the last, I would say, couple months has been InkPay. So we've successfully released the InkPay beta. It's working well. We've been finding bugs, and we've been using it out in the wild. We've been doing a lot of experiments, actually using it, getting people to use it, using it ourselves on marketplaces outside Listia, right? So it's always been designed to help people buy and sell no matter where they are, right? So not just like your eBays and Etsy's, but all these marketplaces that exist where two people might meet and they need to transact, and it needs to be safe, it needs to be trusted, they need to know who they're dealing with. So a great way to do this is on forums and on Reddit. So we've been experimenting, like people buying and selling items on Reddit marketplaces. So we'd message them and say, hey, do you want to use InkPay? The response has been really awesome. As you know, we blogged about this. So like this is the first thing we bought when we launched InkPay beta. We partnered up with actually a Listia seller who runs a Facebook store. So Facebook is another great example of marketplaces where there's no reputation, there's no kind of marketplace features. So the best way to kind of interact there is through something like Ink Protocol, where now you can have two people buying and selling in a very, very trusted way. So this is the first item we bought, is from Empire Estate Toys, and our head of product, Jishen, bought this Power Ranger as well. So these are kind of our office mascots right now, as the first couple InkPay transactions. Yeah, so great feedback so far. So let me kind of jump into a quick little demo. I think most of you who've tuned in probably have been playing around with the app already. So again, this is the InkPay app on Toshi. And so this is my test profile right here. And you can see like completed items. Let me try to get it to focus. There you go. It's a little shiny. And my real profile, right? And you can see I have 5 stars, 5.0, 4 ratings, positive feedback. I can pay myself. I can view the QR code, right? And this is how you would pay me. And then the great part is here's my feedback, right? So feedback as a seller, feedback that I've given, and this is how you would pay someone, right? So you can just kind of fill in the blanks, and you can pay anyone online. So this is live right now. The feedback that we've gotten is really that, it would be, I think we'll be able to get really, really kind of mass adoption, at least within the cryptocurrency enthusiast space, when we add kind of multiple ways to pay. So the holy grail is really like fiat payments. So if you're buying and selling something on Craigslist, most people aren't gonna be using cryptocurrency, right? So we're gonna add a layer on top where you can pay using fiat currency. Underneath, it uses Ink token, Ink protocol. You can leave feedback, and I think that's the time when we're gonna get really, really mass adoption there. So as an industry, as a whole, I think blockchain and tokens and sort of these fiat on-ramps, they're still a little ways away. That's why our recent partnership with Monarch, they are building, sort of this fiat gateway, and they've told me that the tech is ready. It's all about regulations and banking licenses and things like that. So hopefully we'll get that integrated soon. But I think the one thing that we're working on right now, hopefully will be released in a few weeks, is Ether payments. So InkPay will allow you to use Ether to pay. Underneath it gets translated to Ink token seamlessly, so users don't need to care about that. And that's probably the killer feature that we've been seeing, talking to users, talking to buyers and sellers on these marketplaces. And yeah, so the team is working hard on that. And when we release that in a few weeks, that's when we're going to call it sort of InkPay 1.0. We're going to finally do our marketing, go for adoption, do all the things that we would do for any consumer app. We will target it to crypto enthusiasts at first, and kind of release it as the first version that's really easy, simple, and desirable for people to buy and sell on many, many marketplaces. So that's coming up. That's why, with the beta out, we're just trying to get feedback. I think that's the best way, is just to release it publicly. And the next version, when we call it 1.0, that's the time that we think it's worth pushing. Right now, it just needs a couple more things, which the entire dev product team here, that's all they're working on right now. So the last kind of update I want to give before we jump into questions is just a quick update. So I'm going to follow up this video with, we're going to post a full kind of community update on our blog, so you can read it. I know videos are hard to parse sometimes. So a quick update on Ink transaction volume. We've had questions before, where is the volume? It's almost all on Listia, and that's to be expected because Listia hides all the blockchain stuff, right? There's nothing out there that's like a mainstream adopted app where you have to understand blockchain. That just doesn't happen. So, we get questions all the time where like, hey, who's using Ink protocols, contracts, and who's using, InkPay? Well, to use InkPay, to use any blockchain dApp right now, first you have to have the Ink or the Ether, you have to transfer it, you have to understand how to, use your address, and sort of, we don't think adoption will happen that way. If you go to your non-crypto friends, like there's no way they understand how to deal with addresses, private keys, even apps that make it easy. It's very difficult. So that's why it's not a surprise to us that Ink protocol integrated into marketplaces like Listia, where everything's hidden. It's actually growing quite well. So today we want to announce like over 2 million items since launch have been listed using Ink. We get thousands of transactions per day. I think the most exciting thing for us is the amount of transactions that are successfully completing each month has been growing by about 30 to 50% per month. So it's just showing that there was a little slow uptake over the first month or two, people trying to figure out how it works. And each month we're getting more and more transactions. So while there's still always going to be a few people who don't quite understand, I think we're doing a really great job just trying to get normal consumers into sort of this blockchain world without, the key is they can't know that it's related to the blockchain. So another big indicator is that, on Listia, over the entire life of Listia, we always have a downturn during the summer. That's when people go on vacation. That's when people are out of school. And this is the first year that there's no downturn. It just keeps growing. So that's, a great indication that Ink can work in these consumer apps. And the second phase, like I talked about earlier, is just InkPay. So InkPay is for crypto people for now. Listia-like marketplaces are for non-crypto people. And these are separate, but they'll eventually merge. But that's an industry-wide kind of thing that needs to happen. There's no big companies out there. There's nothing in your day-to-day life is using blockchain yet, but we all believe that will happen within the next few years. So we want to make sure we're poised to capture all of that transaction volume. So that's why we have the consumer-friendly version, Listia, and other potential partnerships, and then the InkPay grassroots, like you understand blockchain and you want to use it methodology as well. So with that said, let's jump into some of these questions. Okay, so typically, we really can't talk about things like exchanges, pricing, trading, anything like that. But let me make sure to address kind of the concerns here. So recently, there's a question about basically exchanges. So we've been fortunate enough to be moving up the ranks and having great partnerships with different exchanges over the last few months. We tried to get the community to rally around this KuCoin vote, I think last week. And it was an experiment to see, how well our community can get involved. And I think that the thing that surprised us the most was, we got thousands of people from Listia to vote as well. And that's huge because these people don't know what KuCoin is. They don't know much about blockchain and cryptocurrency, except that they know it works well for them to buy and sell on Listia. So to enable that and get all those thousands of votes in was a huge signal for us. So I do want to announce that we just got word actually from Bbox that they accepted our application to be involved in their next community vote, and that's going to start, I believe, tomorrow. And we have a big plan in place to kind of rally the community, all you guys in the crypto community, also our Listia community and beyond, to make a good push there. So as you know, Bbox, the only way to kind of work with them is through this community vote. And so that's going to be our next effort. I think it'll bring a lot of, it'll show the community kind of rallying together, and that's kind of what we want. We just want to get everyone involved, and that's why we're doing that. And then to answer specifically, questions like, hey, why don't you guys pay for exchanges? Why are you being so cheap? That's not how exchanges work. These guys get hundreds of applications a day. It's business development. It's relationships. It's making sure there's good fits, and that's why we've been moving up the way we have been. It's just we need to find good partners. So when people ask hey, why don't you just pay, that's not the point, right? That's not how things work. So just to clear the air there. But as we find good partnerships, you guys will all be the first to know. Like I said, it's important for liquidity within marketplaces like Listia, Craigslist, anywhere people are buying, selling. It's an important piece of the puzzle, and we know that. It's very, very important. So we are working on that. So next question is about marketing and PR and sort of our plans around that. So we've been building a PR team. It's outsourced. It's through multiple kind of consultants and firms. So about a month and a half ago, we hired a full-time consultant to help us develop this sort of go-to-market strategy for InkPay, Ink Protocol. And as part of that, this week we brought on 2 more companies to help us build out the PR team. So that helps us with YouTube and kind of crypto blogs and distribution there. And then we also have a general PR team right now that started a couple weeks ago, and they're responsible for kind of mainstream tech business, and also kind of into some crypto media as well. So this is all set up just in time for kind of our InkPay launch. I actually already did 2 or 3 interviews last week. I've been recording podcasts. Just kind of preparing to help us go to market with, InkPay. And so that's definitely all in the works. We got three great firms lined up, signed on, and building out our PR marketing team that way, because I know that piece of expertise is not something we have within the company. So now we have multiple teams in place to help with that. Okay, next question. So like conferences, that's part of the same plan. We think now that we have something to show is a great time to get out there. We've submitted panel ideas for South by Southwest. We're going to be at TechCrunch Disrupt. We're looking into speaking and panel sort of engagements at different smaller blockchain events as well. So you should start to see a lot more of that. Integration. Okay, let's see. Any plan? So I talked about earlier, like adoption for crypto type dApps. And there's been a great suggestion from our community and question around is like, are we going to create an all-in-one Android and or iOS app instead of a dApp, right? Where the dApp is kind of a website where you need MetaMask or you need Toshi. And so we definitely are looking into that. On a technical level, it's not too bad. It's basically an app that has the dApp browser enabled or as the main thing, and it also has its own wallet, right? So it's not bad from a technical standpoint. It's more like when you release an app like that, now you have to get people to trust your wallet. People still need to be able to transfer ink into your app now, and it's another point where it requires a lot of trust from users, right? So we do think that for adoption, you need a standalone app. You shouldn't have to go, Chrome, MetaMask, InkPay, and then use it. But in the current iteration, targeting kind of blockchain enthusiasts, we'll start there, get adoption and roll into our own app. I think the main thing you need in your own app is sort of what I talked about, like fiat gateways, other payment methods. It needs to be completely standalone, right? So we do need the industry and kind of the regulations and things to catch up a little bit before that stuff is truly mainstream. So I just want everyone to know, like, our community is all along for the ride. Like this stuff is super, super exciting, but it's still so early. It's not something that you're going to be seeing in your daily life immediately. So we're building up all the pieces, and sometimes we have to wait for the industry to catch up as well. So but to answer that question, we definitely want to have our own standalone InkPay apps. Let's see. Okay, let me jump back into some of these questions. So like Ink is only integrated into Listia right now, obviously, because Listia built Ink. Listia is now all in on Ink. Listia doesn't survive if Ink doesn't do well. So it's all the same. But are there other marketplaces willing? Yeah, so we've had early discussions with, so the community has distinction between, like, we have a